For Black folks, the month of February is a very important month. However, here at MVP, we're going to take it past the month of February and celebrate Black history throughout the year. So I have a series of interviews that I'm going to present to you that celebrate some Black people that you may or may not know. My first person that I'll feature goes back with my own Black history. It's a person that I've worked with 40 years ago. I've worked with him for 10 years plus at a company called Double Exposure in New York City. His name, Angelo Ellerbee. He is the most incredible publicist in the entertainment business. Very successful, responsible for the careers of Mary J. Blige, Alicia Keys, Dionne Warwick, DMX, and so many others. I had a chance to catch up with Angelo. We reminisced about the old times.
Because back in the day and time, Berry Gordy had to reform his direction in terms of getting his music and his artists seen and heard. If you go back to the 50s and the 60s, Black music was known as beach music. And that meant that it only went through Black homes. So when you're in Rome, you do what the Romans do. When you're in America, you have to conform to do it the American way. So what he did was created what was a development program. So he brought in a vocal coach, brought in a choreographer, brought in someone for charm. And so it was a recreation of Berry Gordy. Knowing that the times had changed, I really wanted to get into a 17-week artist development program, teaching diction and speech and mannerisms, publishing rights, recoupments, bringing in accountants, bringing in people from BMI to talk about publishing and how you get publishing. I always believe that it becomes a job of a person that's in charge to teach and educate young people. And what was happening is that nobody was teaching. Still in this day and time, everybody was cheating, but not teaching. Mm-hmm. So it was clear in my mind that these kids were vulnerable. And they were more ambitious than they were ambitious. Mm-hmm. They just wanted an opportunity. And when you want an opportunity, you have to be very, very careful of how that opportunity is given and conveyed to you.
Every day coming to the office was amazing because you never knew who was going to be sitting in there. I would walk in the office, man, and it could be, like I said, Mary J., Alicia Keys, Rome, Jodeci, Diddy, whoever. I mean, that 7th Avenue office was popping, man. And I mean, it was constantly stuff going on. There's video shoots, breakout sessions in the back. We doing interviews. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was, man.
Oh man, but it was so much fun and it was so informative. And it's funny because I see a lot of these artists around now, and I run into them. And they be like, "Yo, wasn't you back in the day?" That I'm like, yeah. I mean, and that's when you talk about longevity, right?
Yes.
We've all had to reinvent ourselves because Absolutely. I was doing shows. I was doing that whole thing. And then it evolved to television for me because that was always where I wanted to be. I just had to find my way, you know. And it was difficult trying to find my way because it was
we all do. Isn't it nice? Isn't it nice to experience life? And when you're experiencing life, those are life lessons that empowers you. When you know it, you got to follow the yellow brick road. Sometimes you get off the yellow brick road. Sometimes you get back on the right path. But that's about a life thing.
Right.
And then when you find it and you're secure in it, you got it. Right. And then you're going to move progressively forward to get to the apex of where you wanted to get to.
Yeah.
But you got to start somewhere. And confusion and being undecisive, those are general things that we get.
One of the artists that when you talk about longevity, man, you can't talk about anybody more than Dionne Warwick. Just recently, an amazing piece on CNN. And I know you were instrumental in making it happen. And I know she's been your client forever. I've been able to experience interviewing her several times because of you. And man, just the wealth of information that she has, and she's still kicking. And the fact is, she don't look like she's a bit over 40 years old. That's amazing.
You know what the thing is? I have to give credit to where credit is due. With the the documentary on Miss Warwick, "Don't Make Me Over," was directed and produced by Dave. Dave did the real big job. Sure, in order to build a foundation, you have to have a team. I was a part of the team. But in terms of the direction, the vision was not mine, it was Dave's. But I was a part of the team, yes. And for 40 years, I've been Miss Warwick's publicist. Her energy is enough to put anyone on a cloud. She's like a diamond amongst rhinestones. And her abilities to stay relevant is fascinating to me. But there's a great, strong team of people that love her and want to be there for her. And we work in tandem together, from the marketing side to the social media side to the medias to the press side to management to the booking agency. It is a strong rainbow of a coalition that is collectively putting together their thoughts, their ideas, and directions to keep her relevant. So, yes, to everything that you're saying, Ms. Warwick is truly, truly a very dear friend. I don't even know if I can call Ms. Warwick a client, right, because it's been 40 years. And you note, I believe in respect, and she would always be Ms. Warwick, right, to me. She will, right, never, ever be Dion to me. I think that when you get to be such a legend and such a contributor and such an educator, everyone deserves their title. And for me, she will always become and always be Miss Dionne Warwick.
How were you able, without giving away your trade secrets, able to get record labels and individuals to buy into the Angelo Ellerbee double exposure method?
It was, again, I've been so very, very, very fortunate. And it's all by example. It's really by example. People used to say, Angelo, you get more press than your clients. And I say that a client is going to come and a client is going to go. And if you're not a smart businessman to capitalize off of those associations, because once you do what you have done for them, you're forgotten. Let's get really real here. Right. So I was smart enough in taking a client like Mary J. Blige and totally create. But you have to understand, before there was a reason for me to create. We have to understand that people who come in from our urban communities are not being taught about the business of music. They're going to be who they are. And not that I'm trying to change them. All I'm trying to do is teach them. You can discard it or you can keep it and you can apply it. It's really, really clear in my mind that young people in this day and the day before, you have to teach them. And so by example, Mary and I became friends in our relationships. And she would come to my office, she would say, why is it that you don't read people's bios and listen to music? I said, a bio ain't nothing but a bunch of lies.
I remember you used to say that. Yep.
I always, and I still do say it. I want to gather my bio by having conversation with you, by talking to your mother, by talking to your siblings, by knowing all the things that you like and the things that you dislike. That's my bio. I'm not going to pick up a phone and call a journalist and start reading the bio. But if I have a conversation with several people, I can freely speak about the who, what's, whens, and wheres and whys of your body, of what you like and what you endure and the kind of person that you are. So, yeah, that was some of the chemistry that I went through. And listening to music, I wasn't selling music. I never sold music. And if you look around my apartment, you will find no records anywhere. I don't believe in that kind of showboating. You may find pictures, which they all become very personal for me because it was that relationship. So clearly in my mind, it's like people by example would go back out and see what I've done. I guess the change with Mary, became very popular for the New York Times, for Vibe magazines, for the daily newses of the world. And then that transcended to other record labels. But I have never done in my 50 years of doing publicity, I've never advertised anywhere. I don't advertise double exposure. I don't advertise me. What I do is by example.
Right.
And from that example, they can draw and take an interest in the work ethic in which we produce a double exposure.
So let's talk about some of the names. Off the top of my head, I could probably mention 100, just like that. But I mean, Michael Jackson, like I said, Mary J, Alicia Keys, Rome, Horace Brown, Silk. I mean, I could just go on, and these are the people that you connected me with. I know him as Dante Bazet, but now he's Mos Def.
Yeah, and it's another name now for him too. Don't ask me.
Huh?
Here's another name now.
Oh, but everybody's, changing, evolving.
Right.
But do you still stay in contact with a lot of them? How does your relationship work with them nowadays?
Well, I'm going to be very honest with you. Some of them I do, and some of them I just don't. Right. Services are rendered. Yep. I'm in business. Yep. I'm not into partnerships. I'm in business. Right. So they move on and I move on. Some of them that do call me from time to time, like Big Daddy Kane calls me often. Father MC calls me often. Of course, I talk to Dionne Warwick every single day. Yes, I talk to Robert Coolbell every single day. And so, yeah, I mean, but if you go into this business thinking that you have friends, I always spell the word and I split the syllable. It's END. Split it in the middle. That's what's going to happen. Friends are going to end. This industry, when you allow someone in, they never can leave out. And so I am very careful about who I put in my life. Because it could be, I believe that demons come in disguises.
Yep.
They come in disguises as partners, as so-called friends, as lovers, whatever. And then once they're inside, you can't get them out. Right. It's like you give them an eviction notice, but they don't want to leave. They don't want to leave because they like the environment. Right. They like what you bring to the table. But if you're going to come and sit at my table, don't come to my house with not a bottle of wine, with not a cheesecake, right. Something. You got to be a contributor to a friendship.
Right.
Right. So I don't look at this longevity to go for life. Goods for services, services for goods. No goods, no service. And it's over and done with. Sounds cold, but it's real.
Well, that's the realness of this game. And people don't understand. I mean, it's a cold, cutthroat, nasty business. People see the glamorous part, the limelight part. They don't see the painstaking hours with somebody like yourself who has to build that career and all of the things that
that's very true.
Right? To like you said, connect the dots. If you break down the amount of hours that you work on artists, it could be survival pay when you think about the amount of hours that you contribute, right, to their career. So
exactly.
I commend you, man. I've seen you in action. I've known you for 40 years. So I could say I've seen it. I was there. I'm not going to say from the beginning, but I was there from at least 10 years. I know, maybe even longer, in and out. And man, it's just been an amazing opportunity to see where you've gone with this. Just seeing you evolve, because I know you've had to change because the technology has changed. So press releases, we ain't faxing press releases no more. We ain't sending files and press packages and FedExing them down. Hey, can you go run down to see Sylvia Rome for me?
You have to be able and willing to make the changes and adjust, So no, you're not faxing, but you're truly sitting at that computer and you're being able to email. You do want to make sure you use a messenger for certain things, and I do. I do the same things that I used to do. It's just in a new format. I believe what is old will always revisit itself to become what's new, clearly. And for me, it's like taking old and intermixing it with new to come up with your own creativity in a new way, in a new direction. Like the music industry has changed. I don't think that I have changed. I've readjusted.
You once represented and was manager for DMX.
Yeah.
And a lot of people may not know that. Let's talk about that real brief.
Well, I started out as Earl's publicist. I was his publicist for about 2.5 years. I worked with a wonderful gentleman by the name of Ray Copeland, which was Earl's uncle and manager. And we began to make music together on a PR side in terms of national exposure. And then as time went on, I was, I guess, promoted to the manager for DMX. And then I was promoted to the president of Bloodline Records, which was his production company and his label. And I'm going to tell you, I never learned so much. You know, everyone talks about all the craziness of Earl. I talk about all the opportunities that he was able to give to me. He gave me my movie credits. He gave me my author credits. He gave me opportunities to meet people and to know people that I would have never met or known. It was difficult, but so is that R&B and pop artists that are difficult. You come with all these things and you have to understand and know that everybody has his or hers do's and don'ts, and you get it mixed up in the do's and you get mixed up in the don'ts. And your job is to be a problem solver. And so it was, and I want people really to know that this man was a very giving soul. I think we got into arguments like, Angelo, did you pay my tithes, my church tithes? And I would go, yeah, exactly. That's the most important thing. Before he would talk about mortgage or cars or any of those things, it was important for him to pay his church tithes. But the lovely thing about him, when he got upset, I knew how to take him down a notch by simply asking him, did you pray today? And he'll say, no, Angelo, I didn't. I said, all right, man, let's pray. And that would take him down. I think one of the most misunderstood individuals on the face of this earth. And then, you know, addiction does what addiction does to you. But you have to really understand what you are entering into. And I clearly understood what it was. It was trying times, but it was also a learning lesson. And it was also a blessing that I still put on my resume of the films and the relationships that I gained from knowing Earl.
That's amazing because and when I see him, I've seen him throughout the office, and I've seen him in other places. And to see, to me, he was a conflicted person, because when you sit down and talk to him, man, he had a different persona when you were talking to him one-on-one than he was on the stage. Similar to like Michael Jackson.
Oh, very true. Very true.
Right? Just totally different
Very true.
As they are on stage.
Very true.
And when he passed away, that was such a blow. I remember the day because I was working on a story and I was working on a sad story. And then on top of that, then I heard that news. And immediately I thought about you because I knew the relationship that you had with him. In closing, I asked Angelo if he were to write a biography, my biography, what exactly would he say?
I would simply say full of energy, insightfulness, experience beyond. Give him a chance to and allow him to open up the doors of his knowledge and his opportunities. He's a businessman. He's a professional. He's crafty. He's alert. And he's intuitive. He has intuitiveness. Period. See more. I like that, man. I might have to use that. I might have to put that on my next. Yeah, you do that, brother. You'll do that. I won't even send you an invoice.
But then that would not be Angelo.